Director at the Seta Foundation in the American capital. Kilic, what are your overriding thoughts right now?
Well, the operation just started, and I think it was expected. It was expected in Washington, D.C. It was expected in other capitals around Europe. And President Erdogan basically made very clear that this operation will start in a couple of days. But more surprising was, I think, since the last phone call between two presidents on Sunday evening, we started to see something dramatic in foreign policy. And so far in U.S. foreign policy, we used to criticize the judgment of the presidents as the most critical issue in shaping U.S. foreign policy. But in the last couple of days, we see that the misjudgments of the foreign policy elite in Washington, D.C. is becoming much more obvious. So since the beginning of this operation, and since actually the phone call that was between President Trump and President Erdogan, we started to see in Washington, D.C. that many foreign policy elites are criticizing the decision without any strategic consideration. So we have a discussion, a debate right now that become a major issue in Twitter trends. Actually, it is topping in Twitter trends for the last couple of days. But there is no discussion about how long the relation between US and YPG could go on, and what was the purpose of this relationship, because at the beginning the relation was described as tactical, transactional, and limited. And what were the limits? What were the tactical goals? If tactical goals are achieved, which means ending the territorial control of the ISIS, what would be the next step? There is no discussion about an exit strategy for the US-YPG relations in this capital right now, especially among some of the foreign policy elites. And we started to constantly see accusations on Turkey and accusations on actually President Trump. And the critical sentence here is, especially after the operation started here, is abandoning YPG. But there is no calculation what would be the cost of losing an ally like Turkey, who is a NATO member, which is actually a major regional power in the Middle East and in Europe as well. So there is a debate, but the debate is not going in a very strategic ground right now. Debate is mostly going from basically the criticism of President Trump and President Trump's decision-making style, and criticism on Turkey. So far, nothing happened. There is no civilian casualty. But when you look at actually the tweets of this foreign policy elite, you can see that they basically wrote these tweets as if a huge humanitarian disaster is taking place in Syria. And this was actually surprising for an outside observer who's trying to understand Washington, D.C.
Kilic, we literally only have 40 seconds to go. How quickly do you think leading members of Congress like Lindsey Graham are going to take before they implement their threat to sanction Turkey for this operation? Or do you believe that actually they will wait just to see what's been happening?
I think there will be two different forces. One group would definitely push this because the operation started, but the more realistic Republicans, especially in the Senate, will probably prefer to stop until something happen in the region. So they will probably wait and see what will happen in this operation.
Kilic, thank you very much indeed. That is Kilic Kanat joining us from